In this video, I'll show you how to create an SEO strategy for your activewear brand. I'm going to take a random activewear brand and I'll show you exactly how I would structure their SEO strategy. I'm Tyler Nowak, the founder of SEO Align. I've helped dozens of fashion brands improve their organic traffic and revenue, including several multi-million-dollar brands. Just a heads up, I do move quick in this video, so make sure to only watch this video if you're really serious about growing your brand. So please like this video to show me you're excited, and let's dive in. So the example brand I'm going to use for this video is Jala Clothing. So they just basically sell activewear clothing. They have yoga pants, active tops, stuff like that. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to build a keyword database. This is a really important step because it's going to help us determine what keywords we're actually going to go after with our SEO strategy. And if you get this part wrong, everything you do after is kind of a waste of time and resources. So it's really important to make sure you nail down your keyword research first before you move on to any other steps. So the first thing we need to do is find what existing keywords we're already ranking for. So I'm going to open up SEMrush, and I'm going to plug in this domain right into SEMrush. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to open up the keywords that we're currently ranking for. So we can either click on this number here, or I'm just going to scroll down to top organic keywords and we'll click view details. Okay, so now what we see is a list of all of the different keywords that we're ranking for. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to export this entire list so we can look at it a little bit closer and we can really figure out what keywords we want to go after. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to export this list. So now what I did was I took that export file and I pasted all the information into a Google Sheet here. It's just a little bit easier to work with. We have all those keywords and I took most of the data after the URL. I deleted all of that. So it's just all this data. And now what we want to do, now we have all the existing keywords here. So the next step is to find untapped keywords or keywords that we have not even thought of or we haven't gone after yet. And the best way to do that is to look at what keywords your competitors are ranking for. And so what you can do is come over to SEMrush. And if you hop over to the keyword gap, what you can do then is you can take your brand and you can add up to 4 different competitors and you can look at what keywords they're ranking for that you're not. And you can see different comparisons there as well. But that's the the most impactful thing to look at is all the keywords they're ranking for that you're not. So a few different ways you can do this. If you know your top competitors, you can plug them right in. But the thing about that is your business competitors are not necessarily going to be your SEO ranking competitors. So a really good way to figure out these other competitors that you can plug in here to find new keyword ideas is to come over to the domain overview. And if you scroll down, you'll see main organic competitors, and you can actually take these and plug them right in. Another cool thing, if you go to the keyword gap, you just click in, it's going to show you your main competitors right here. So you can just plug them right in. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and click compare. And this is a little visual breakdown, kind of cool to see where you stack up against your competitors. In this case, we're the blue. You can see Yoga Democracy is by far the biggest brand as far as the number of keywords that they're ranking for. But really all of these brands, including us, are a pretty similar territory as far as how many keywords are ranking for, which is usually a good sign because that usually means overall the brand is probably in the ballpark of the same size brand. And these other keywords that your competitors are ranking for, it's just going to be probably, these keywords are probably going to be more attainable to rank for since it's a similar size brand. So what you'll do then is you'll come down here, have a few different tabs here. Really the biggest one we're going to be concerned about is untapped. So I'll click on untapped. You can see there's 2,000 keywords here. And all we want to do is we just want to export this entire list and we're going to add it to our spreadsheet. Okay, so what I did was I took the keyword and then I also took search volume, keyword difficulty, and the CPC, and I pasted it into the sheet. And you'll notice we don't have a position here and we don't have a URL. And the reason for that is because we're not ranking for this keyword. This is an untapped keyword. So we don't have a position in Google and we don't have a URL that's ranking. And so really these different columns, we have the keyword column is just the keyword. We have position, which is where we're currently ranked in Google. We have the search volume, and this is the number of times per month the keyword is searched. We have keyword difficulty on a scale of 0 to 100. How difficult is this keyword to rank for? We have CPC, which is cost per click. This is how much money people are spending in Google Ads to get an individual click for that particular keyword. And then we have URL column, which is the URL that's currently ranking for that keyword. So now that we have these keywords in here, we have existing keywords, we have untapped keywords. We should have a pretty good database here. If I scroll down, it's probably close to 3,000. We have 2,700 keywords. So really good list to work from. The next step from here is we want to narrow this down so that we're only going after the most important keywords that are actually going to move the needle for our brand. So the best way to do that is really in two different parts. The first one is we want to sort this entire sheet by the URL. And then what we want to do is we'll just insert a column here, and we're going to name this target. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick out one target keyword per individual URL. So this can take a lot of time, especially if you have a brand that has a lot of different products and collection pages. But it's really important that we map out an individual keyword per URL. And we only want to have one. We want to have a primary keyword that we're going after for each URL. So what you'll do, homepage, you'll go ahead and pick out of all of these keywords, what is the most relevant keyword for the particular URL that we're looking at. So with the homepage, this is going to be overall, what is your website about? And this Jala clothing, it's mostly yoga clothing. And so there should be something along the lines of yoga clothing as far as the keyword that we're targeting. Scroll down and get to some of these other pages. We have bottoms, for example. So we just have two keywords for this particular collection page. And if we open it up, the page is centered around yoga bottoms. And so if I go back to the spreadsheet, we have yoga bottoms here. This would be a really good target keyword. We're already number one, which is okay. We'll still go ahead and mark this as a target keyword. You can scroll down. Some of these URLs are a little bit confusing on this website particularly. But you can look down here at the legging collection page, and we can look at the keywords that we're ranking for. And we can see yoga leggings is one of them, legging yoga leggings. Just based on this information, it seems like yoga leggings is going to be the most relevant keyword for us to go after. Keep going down the line here and just looking at the URLs and just figuring out what is going to be the best keyword to target for each URL. So we have long sleeves here, long sleeve yoga tees, long yoga tops. Any of these look like they're pretty darn good, but we'll go long yoga tops, click target. And go through for all the different URLs, find a good target keyword. And then what you'll want to do is when you get down to untapped keywords down here, then what you're going to want to do is go through all these different keywords and just determine if it's a relevant keyword that you might want to go after. So we know that there's over 2,000 keywords here, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but you don't have to go through the full list. You could just go through for about 30 minutes and look for good opportunities. So just go through, determine black sweatpants. Maybe you carry those on your website. You can click target there. Black joggers, maybe that's something you carry again. Click the target box and just keep going down the list until you have a pretty solid list. You can go through the entire list if you have the time. But just spend a little bit of time finding those opportunities. And then when you're done, what we'll do is we will go ahead and put a filter on here. And we're going to filter this by only our target keywords. And you should have a list. You should have, like I said, you should have about one keyword per URL. And then you should have a decent amount of untapped keywords that you have marked as a target keyword as well. And now that you have a really solid list of target keywords that you want to go after, a really, really important step that so many people get wrong is prioritizing this list. Because it's really important to make sure you have the right keywords picked out. But even if you have the right keywords picked out and you don't prioritize them correctly, your entire SEO strategy can take way longer than it's supposed to, and it really can just not work because you don't have the time or resources to continue to put into it. So you want to make sure that you're going after keywords that you're going to be able to get an ROI as quick as possible, because we know SEO takes time to actually kick in and work. So you want to be doing whatever you can to get results as fast as you possibly can. So some things to look at when you're prioritizing keywords is all of the data that we have at our disposal here. So we have the specific keyword, we have the position, we have search volume, keyword difficulty, cost per click. And what we want to look at is the keyword, how relevant is it to what you're selling? So you might have certain products that are more profitable for you, or just different products that you're trying to push a little bit harder. And it's really important to understand that so it can help you prioritize keywords. Like what is actually important for you to sell? The next step is looking at position. How close are you to being in position number one? Because that should be the goal with your SEO strategy. You want to rank number one for all of your important keywords. So you should be looking at keywords where you're in position 2 through 15 or 2 through 20, keywords that you're within striking distance for. Because if you're looking at keywords where you're in position 75, it's going to be really hard to take that keyword and move to position number one. Versus if you have a keyword where maybe you're in position number 9, to get that to position number one is going to be so much easier than to take a keyword that is in position 75. So another really important thing to look at as far as prioritization, we have search volume. So this is the number of times a keyword is searched on a monthly basis. This is another thing that's important. You should not base your prioritization on just search volume alone, because there's so many more aspects that are more important than search volume. But you should consider it. How many times is a keyword being searched? So we have a keyword that's being searched 50 times per month, and then we have a keyword that's searched 18,000 times per month. This is a little bit of a tricky one because we're not showing up anywhere for this keyword. So to get to position number one, or even the first few positions, is going to be really difficult. And then we're already in position number one for this keyword. So the work is done there. But then you start to kind of look at these other ones. We have 320, 590, still not nearly as many times as 18,000, but it's not going to be as much work. We're going to be able to get there much, much quicker. So it's all of these things, and keyword difficulty, the lower the better, because it's going to, you're going to have an easier time ranking with lower competition keywords. And then cost per click, the higher the number here, the more valuable the keyword is going to be to go after. Because if people are willing to spend a lot of money to bid on this keyword within Google Ads, it's probably because it's bringing in a good ROI for them. So the higher the better here. But really, it's important to look at all of these different aspects to know what's going to be the best keyword to prioritize. And so really just kind of map that out and just figure out what's going to be your first chunk of keywords. It could be anywhere from 5 to 15 keywords that you want to go after right from the start. Just make sure that you look at all of these aspects so you have the best 5 to 15 keywords, just so that you're able to plan out which keywords are going to be the most impactful for you to work on right from the start. Let's talk about the next step, which is on-page optimization. So now that we have our target keywords picked out and prioritized, what you want to do is look at your priority keywords, and then you're going to actually go to the specific URL, and you just want to figure out how can you make this specific page optimized for the keyword we're trying to rank for. And the really important places to have that keyword, especially since we're talking about an activewear brand where most of your keywords are probably going to be on a category or collection page. The most important places to have your keyword is in the title tag. So that is a clickable text in the search results. But if I hover over the browser, that's also the text that shows here. So it's Jella Yoga Bottoms. And you also want to have it in the meta description. You want to have it in the collection or category title. And then if you have any text on your category or collection page, this one does not. You want to make sure you have it in there as well. So just looking at this page, we have Jella Yoga Bottoms. I think that's perfectly fine for the title tag. Meta description, that's not something we see here, but on the back end, you'd be able to see what that meta description is. Just make sure that it's something that's enticing, because you see the meta description in the search results as well. So make sure it's something that makes people want to click on your listing and also has your keyword in it. We have the collection title. Right now, this is just bottoms. Honestly, I would change this to yoga bottoms, because if we look at that's our keyword, we want to make sure we're as relevant as possible for this keyword. But they are ranking number one as is. So in that case, maybe I wouldn't touch it, because whatever they're doing is working. But if we look at yoga legging, if I come over here, this is a situation that very similar. They have Jala yoga leggings, but they aren't ranking number 1, they're ranking number 9 for this keyword. So I definitely would make sure to include yoga in this title, because it really isn't just leggings. We're talking about yoga leggings. So make sure to actually have that in the collection title. And I would also recommend, even if it's like a sentence or two, having a collection description if it's up here. If you have it down here, it's kind of nice, because what you can do is you can actually have a little bit more text down at the bottom, where you just kind of answer questions people have about the product type. If you have the collection description down here, you definitely don't want to take up too much space. You don't want to cause people to have to scroll to get to the products. So just a sentence or two if you're going to keep it up here, and make sure to include the keyword that you're going after in that collection description. So you don't have to go too crazy here. You don't have to cram keywords in anywhere you possibly can do it. It's the biggest thing is make it as easy for Google as possible to figure out what this page is about. And the two most important ones I can tell you are going to be that title tag and that collection title. If you have the keyword in those two places, you're going to be in pretty solid shape. Okay, let's talk about the next step, which is going to be content. So like we discussed before, we have our target keywords that we're going after. And we've prioritized them so that we're going after the keywords that are going to be really important for us. The next step is we want to build content around these specific keywords. And really what this does is this helps us build topical authority in the space. And the more you're writing and answering questions people have about the product type, the more you're doing that, the more people are going to trust you, but the more Google's going to trust you as well, because they're going to see you know what you're talking about when it comes to the topic. So a really good way to do this, to find keyword topics to go after, is to just find questions people are asking about your keyword. So if I copy this keyword and I paste it into Google, and if I scroll down, I'm going to see a few things. I'm just going to see the keywords that are ranking. I'm going to see the brands, but I'm also going to see discussions in forums. So this is a really good place to look, because you're going to see the exact questions that people really have that they've posted on forums. So we have long sleeve yoga top that won't ride up. What are your favorite yoga tops? Where can I find stylish and comfortable yoga tank tops for my yoga session? So right there, you could put out an article about stylish and comfortable yoga tank tops. So really good ideas here. You can see more, click on it and see just a bunch of different forums where people are asking questions about that particular topic. So really good way to find content topics, because people are searching those specific topics. So if you write a post about it, it's going to be relevant for people, and it's actually going to be helpful. So I would recommend, there's 1,000 different ways you can come up with content topics, but this is a really good way to do it, just because you're going to find topics that people actually care about. And you're going to do that. You're going to write your blog posts on that topic. And then what's really important is to then internally link to the specific URL that you're trying to get ranked. And you're going to do this. You're going to continue to put out content on that topic, and you're going to internally link to it. And you're going to start to build that topical authority, and you're going to start ranking better, because you've optimized this page now for the keyword you're trying to rank for. And now you're internally linking to it with blog posts that are really just supporting assets for that specific page. And like I said, the more you do this, the more you're just going to see your position improve. So coming up with that content plan based around the specific keywords you're prioritizing and making sure you're writing about topics that people care about, is just a really important step in the overall SEO process. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to talk about is building authority. So we've talked about picking out your keyword. We've talked about the on-page optimization. We've talked about building content around your keywords. The last step is building overall authority to your website in general and to your specific pages that you're trying to get ranked. And what I mean by that is building backlinks to your site. And if you're not familiar with a backlink, it's just when another website is linking to your website. It is a super important ranking factor. And really how it works is other websites link over to your website, and it shows Google that you have a trusted website and you should be ranking higher for the keywords that you're going after. And you want to build these links from really trusted websites that if Google sees that you got a link from that website, then that truly means something. So we're talking any sort of big publication you can get a link from, that is going to be massive. Any sort of relevant blog that you can get a link from, that's going to be big. So you want to be thinking about how you can actually get links from these really good and relevant websites, if you're trying to get links from any spammy website, directories, blog comments, anything like that, those aren't going to help you. Definitely don't waste your time on that. That maybe worked in 2010, but it does not work anymore. And you're just going to waste your time, and it might even hurt your SEO efforts. So make sure you're focusing on getting links from really good, high quality websites. So a few different ways to do that. The first thing I want to talk about is building linkable assets. So what I mean by that is you want to build an asset on your website that is very linkable, where a lot of people would want to link to it. And one thing that I've found works really, really well, especially in the fashion industry, is statistic posts. So if you can put out a post that is something along the lines of statistics for activewear clothing, anything like that, where you actually have a data-driven piece, what happens is journalists love statistics. And so when they're writing an article on their own website, they're going to look in Google for statistics. And if you can have these assets that you've compiled data for, and you can have that blog post put out there, and when they search in Google, they see your website, with your data-driven statistic posts, what they're going to do is they're just going to take the statistic, include it in their article, and link back to your website. And this works really, really well because it's a really passive way to build backlinks, because you just put out your data-driven piece. As long as you can get it ranked for when journalists are searching, then you're just going to continuously pick up backlinks and build authority over time. It's really effective because you don't have to individually try to build backlinks. But it's something that takes a little bit of time to get off the ground. So there are a few different things you can do to actually speed up the link building process. One of them is Quoted. So Quoted is a platform where you can actually sign up for and be an expert source. And what happens is media publications write articles, and they're looking for experts to weigh in as a source and as a quote in their article. And what you can do then is they'll put out a request, and you can actually respond to it with a quote. And if they like it, they'll put your quote in their article, and they'll link back to your website. This is a really good way to get some amazing backlinks. So definitely try this, be consistent with it. And if you're consistent and you do this and you respond to all of the relevant queries, you're going to get a ton of amazing backlinks over time. And these are backlinks that are really going to move the needle for you. So I would really recommend hanging out on this platform, and trying to answer as many as you can. Just make sure you're sending in quality quotes, because they get garbage quotes all the time, and they get a lot of AI quotes, and it never works. So just make sure you're actually putting in the time to put together a good quote. And the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as link building is just reaching out to relevant bloggers. So just try to find bloggers in the activewear space, in the fitness space, the clothing space, that are blogging about topics that are relevant to your brand, and just reach out to them and see if there's any way you can contribute to their website and include a link back to your website. If you can get linked to from an existing blog post that they have, if there's any way you can work out some sort of a deal like that, especially if it's a really high quality blog and it's a relevant blog, those are going to really help move the needle. So all three of those methods, so linkable assets, I'd start building out those right away, and then get on Quoted, respond to as many requests as you can. And then also actively reach out to bloggers in the industry that would be relevant and would actually make sense for them to link to you. Because if you can kind of take this approach and hit all three heads of that, you're going to get some really, really good backlinks, and you're going to build your authority really fast. Make sure you put a big focus on the authority side of things, because this is one of the most important ranking factors. And this is really overall how you're going to improve your rankings and build your organic traffic once you've done all of the on-page optimization and content building. If you're ready to take your activewear brand to the next level, then make sure to implement everything I mentioned in this video. If you'd rather have me help you instead, just head over to SEOalign.com and book a call with me to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. And one more thing, I put together a fashion SEO checklist to help you rank for your most important keywords. I'll leave a link right down in the description where you can grab that. If you got value out of this, please like this video and subscribe for more fashion SEO videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.